When we talk about productivity, we often think about it as doing more in less time, or the ability to maximize our outputs, to increase the volume of what we create, do, and deliver. But what if this was the wrong way to think about it? What if true productivity was not about doing more or increasing volume? Well, in this video, I want to talk about just that. I want to share with you the #1 productivity strategy for transforming the way that you organize and live your life. And in order to get this strategy to work, the first thing you need to get your head around is that true productivity is not about doing more, but actually it's about doing less. So I call this strategy focus on what matters. And the general idea is that before you write a to-do list or you use some sort of tool for managing your life, then you first need to spend time figuring out what matters to you. Because if you don't, then most likely you'll just end up using these tools to clutter up your life with more stuff that you probably don't want to do. At the end of the day, the ultimate aim of any productivity system is to make your life better. And one of the best ways to do this is to free up your life so you can spend time on the things that matter to you. So in order to prove this to you, we need to go back to the good old 1980s. So of course we can't really go back to the 1980s, so we're just going to have to get a little bit creative. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, let's go with this. So back in the 1980s, there was a study carried out on happiness by psychologist Angus Campbell of the University of Michigan. And he wanted to find out what made people happy. And he found that everybody has their own things that they do, but one common theme seemed to emerge. That the biggest, most powerful common denominator for happiness was actually quite simple. That the happiest people in general were those who believed that they were in control of their lives, and in particular in control of their time. That they had managed to free up their lives so that they could focus, spend time on the things that were important and meaningful to them. And this led to extended periods of happiness. This is true productivity, and it's why you need to spend some time figuring out what matters to you before you engage with any fancy productivity system. That there's so much more at stake here than just getting things done or maximizing your outputs. That ultimately this is about your happiness, and I don't think there's anything more important than that. So how do you actually do that? I appreciate this is easier said than done. Well, you want to start off the process by asking yourself this question: what is most important to me? When you ask this question, you start to delve into your values, the aspects of your life that are deeply important to you, the things that are sacred, the things that are meaningful. And you don't want to just gloss over this question, you want to deeply reflect on it. So maybe grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, find yourself in a relaxed frame of mind, and then just consider the question for a reasonable portion of time. The more you relax when you do this, the higher quality of answers tend to come. The other thing you can do is you can meditate on the question. Try something for me just now. Grab a piece of paper and write that question down on it. Then find yourself a comfortable space and take 5 long, slow, deep breaths in. Close your eyes for a short portion of time, and then once you've finished those long, slow, deep breaths, open your eyes and take a look at the question. And as you look at the question, just consider it in your imagination. Deeply reflect on it and notice what answers naturally come from within. And don't overthink this, trust your intuition. What you feel tends to be real. And what you're looking for this are the top 3 things that are most important to you. It's about figuring out the key things that are going to make your life better and then freeing up your life so that you can do them more often. And then from there, you want to consider 2 things. First of all, what goals can you create that would give you more of those things? And secondly, what actions do you need to take in order to move towards these goals? And it's only once you've gone through this thought process that you start to write a to-do list or a schedule, because then the things on the list will be linked to something powerful, something meaningful, something that matters to you. Okay, Steve, I think I get you, but let me ask one question. What do you do when you have to do things that aren't important to you? Well, that's a great question, other Steve, so let's address it. So the way round this is to factor it into your to-do list. So what I do is, once I've explored my values, my goals, and the actions I need to take to move towards those things, I'll then create a schedule, I'll create a to-do list, but I'll do it in 2 parts. In part 1, I'll write down my crucial tasks. So these are the key things I need to do to drive my most important important goals forward. In part 2, I'll write down all of the miscellaneous tasks, so things that still need to get done but aren't really intimately linked to my key goals. And the idea behind this is you then want to prioritise the tasks in part 1 as much as you possibly can. Now, a lot of people do this the other way about, so they prioritise part 2. So they say to themselves, oh, I'll just clear my feet, I'll get rid of all of this stuff before I focus on the more meaningful things. But that doesn't really work, because those miscellaneous tasks aren't linked to our most important values, so they tend to rob us of energy. So by the time we've cleared our feet, we're pretty much a spent force and we've no energy to spend on the things that really do matter. So that's what I think is the #1 productivity strategy for transforming the way that you live your life. It's maybe not what you expected, but if you don't start here, then chances are you're just going to clutter up your life with more stuff that you don't really want to do. As the famous writer Franz Kafka once said, productivity is about being able to do the things that we were never able to do before. And I think that's a nice way to finish this video. So thanks for watching. If you want to learn some other productivity strategies, then I've done a video on that. It should flash up here if you want to check that out, and I'll see you later on.